All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to our next article here and talk a little bit about AI. So I have not dug into this tool a lot, so I'm not necessarily endorsing this tool. Although Neil, you said that you have talked with the developer and everything like that already. So I don't know how great this tool is, but what I really want to dive into is just being able to use AI for things like this. So this is a AI powered Amazon listing backend optimization guide. So this guide explains how to optimize the backend of Amazon listings to improve indexing and search visibility using AI powered tools. It emphasizes the importance of downloading category files, conducting keyword research, and scraping data for additional insights to refine product listings. By following a structured approach, including gathering product URLs, leveraging ChatGPT for optimization, and uploading enhanced backend data, sellers can maximize SEO performance. The guide also encourages sellers to test and provide feedback to help develop an automation tool for bulk optimization. So, from reading this, essentially, this is a Chat GPT bot that you can upload all of your information into it. And the goal is for it to generate you a upload file to update your listings with all of the information entered by the AI system, which to me could be extremely helpful, assuming that it gets it correct, especially with filling in all those, extra back end fields. Everybody can fill in the title and the bullets and description, but
Yep.
there's a million other fields in there as well that most people don't fill out. That filling those out potentially could help your product rank and get more visibility.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome because there's so many fields that you have no idea what they are, what they mean, or anything like that. I would use it. I've never heard, I've heard of AMZ Optimize. I've never heard whether it's good or bad, but I'd certainly try it. What's the cost?
Right now, it's free because it's in beta, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
can't
like
argue
with
with
the
free.
yeah, free is always the best price, especially when we're talking about being able to test things. So, few things about this, the bulk the bulk uploads for products, the back end ones that you upload, they are incredibly tricky, right? And like I've gone through those, and I'd say that Amazon's training on how to use these is like anything else. It's subpar, right? Like I remember when I was learning how to use bulk sheets, I was writing nasty messages to the Amazon YouTube channel because I was like, you guys are skipping over the most important parts of the training. And so a lot of sellers aren't familiar with all of this information that needs to get filled in. And so I think anytime we can actually fill in more information, feed more information into the AI to help it better understand what our products is down to the most micro level possible, that's a good thing. And if someone has developed a tool to make that easier and has actually gone through and mastered, these product bulk uploads and making it easier for everyone, I mean, that seems like a pretty good service to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. The question with AI is always, will it get it correct? And
Right.
what kind
Yeah.
of incorrect information is it going to put in there? The example I like to give is when I asked ChatGPT one time to give me the highest elevation in every state. And it came back with elevations, but sometimes we had only 48 states. Another time we had 54 states. So it's kind of, all over the map. It doesn't always get the information correct.
Mm-hmm.
And so back when I was a seller, I remember I uploaded one of these bulk sheets. I was trying to fill in additional information. So I personally struggled with this in the past. And when I uploaded mine, the bulk upload went through without any errors, and I had unknowingly changed my product type, which meant that my product was no longer searchable on Amazon, even though it was there. So the only way you could find my product is if you had the ASIN and you were directly typing it in. It disappeared from all search results because it was classified in the wrong category. And it took me about 2 weeks to figure this out. And so building off of what you said, Todd, is, these AIs, they get it wrong. We catch GPT lying to us all the time, like just making stuff up, even when it's in reasoning mode. And so I think there is a level of review that needs to be required before you use a tool like this, because the AI does just want to give an answer, even if it's not the correct answer. And, the implications on this, like if you don't know, like for me personally, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just being like, okay, I'm optimizing my listing as much as I possibly can. I'm filling in all this backend information. And I had inadvertently changed my product type, which actually hurt my listing more than if I had actually done nothing. So I think that like making sure that there is a review process there, or just having a backup that you like hitting the reset button if something does go a little squarely or sideways and you have unintended results and you don't know what you actually did is probably a good thing. But like having a tool like this is a great step.
Yeah, I think necessary for probably most people.
And I talked with I was on Pasha's podcast, I think last week, and we had great conversations about AI, and he's definitely one of those guys that is embracing it and understands that, like you said, Dan, and it's embrace it or get left behind.
Yeah.
Right? I use it every single day for optimization of listings and writing app scripts to manipulate data in Google Sheets. Things like that. So it's definitely extremely helpful. But you do have to double check the data that it's giving me. So that's, one worry of a tool like this is that people are just going to use it and upload the data. And then like happened to you, Neil, they changed their category accidentally and they no longer exist because, the AI doesn't necessarily know that. It shouldn't do that. It's just trying to optimize you the best way it knows how.
Yeah. Well, I think with any AI tool today, you still, no matter what, you need that human intervention. Like you've got to cross-check the work of it, right? It's not the answer. You know what I mean? You have to go and look. I think it's a great base to getting started and helping you put together pretty much most of what you need. But these days, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I've had quite a few people create content for me or a list or something like that. And like, you used AI for this, didn't you? There's just, I can't even put my finger on it yet, but there are subtle hints to me that it's just purely AI, and I know that they spent 34 seconds creating this rather than actually looking at it. Like by all means, I tell my executive assistant, leverage AI, leverage it, make your job easier, but don't trust it. It's like trust but verify, right?
Yeah.
And the verification step, it's quality control. Every company needs that, and you need that with AI. You have to quality control it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Do you guys have any favorite AI tools that you use frequently?
I mean, I use ChatGPT almost exclusively. I like Perplexity. I think that it does a better job of content creation. And I've been using Gemini a little bit more, but not for language-based requests and stuff like that. Mostly inside of my Google atmosphere. You know what? And then actually, this is a kind of a weird plug, but anyone that needs a note taker, I use Fathom Video. I've used Fireflies. I've used Zooms. I've used a couple of other ones. Fathom takes the cake by a long way for me in its simplicity and just getting you the data. So if anyone's interested in that, I actually have a 30-day premium thing, and I pay for premium. I think it's totally worth it. Like I probably go to Fathom to reference my meetings with clients as much as or more than I go to
Fathom.
ChatGPT in a day. Yeah, Fathom.video. Yeah. It's incredible note taker.
Okay.
I was using Firefly AI, and I believe Google just forced everyone in the Google Business Suite to adapt to Gemini in that aspect. So I started using the Gemini note taker for a lot of my meetings, and I'm actually finding pretty good results. Yeah, and so it was good enough that I canceled my Firefly AI subscription. And I'm just using Gemini now. I find it gives a good enough overview that I can get exactly what I need out of it. I take notes. I have the AI and I take notes at the same time when I'm in my client meetings. And then in terms of like the AIs that we're using within the agency, so Monday is what we're using to help do a lot of our AI streamline automation processes. And then GPT, like we have a repository of GPTs that we built, right? And it's just, you can do all kinds of things. So we have TOS, listing compliant titles, because Amazon just changed the way that they were enforcing titles. We have for finding negatives within product listings. So we download all the search terms, we upload them, we punch in the listing, and it'll spit out phrase negations. So we can just cut off anything that's irrelevant at a product level and make sure that like we're just keeping all that clean. But it would be Gemini and GPT and Monday are probably the big ones that we're using within the agency for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
What about you, Todd? I see you are paying for Gemini Advanced.
Yeah. So I have started using Grok a lot more than anything. I don't know. It does great work when it comes to writing app scripts and coding and stuff like that. And now with the new Deep Think and Deep Search that they have, seem to be pretty impressive for finding data and stuff like that. But I still jump over to ChatGPT sometimes for some writing things. It seems to be a little bit better for that. But yeah, I've played with Gemini as well. And you can see I got a bookmark right here for Claude over in the corner. So I use that as well. They all have kind of different strengths and downsides. It all depends, but they're all advancing quite fast.
Yeah. I mean, just when I first used Claude, it was pretty bad. It's like, and I say that in relation to other AIs. Like when Claude first came out, AI was, for at least for us general consumers, it was revolutionary, right? So it's still good, but the results that I got were far worse than what I got in GPT. But I think that you look at anything, everybody, almost all tools are implementing AI. Even my CRM, which is high level through Parsimony. When I'm creating workflows, and I'm no genius at this, I'm literally bumbling my way through this. It gives me suggestions. Do you want to do this or that? And I go, well, what is it? And they go, well, how about a 1-day pause right here before you send this next thing? I was like, oh my God, I was looking for that, And I think that I think that technology in general is just going to get to the point where we go, I need to do this. This is what I want it to do. And you just tell the tool goes, cool, this is what you need. Click yes if I understood you correctly. And so all of these help pages and help files and stuff like that, it's all going to go into a simple system where you ask an LLM what to do. And not only does it give you the answer and then ensure that it's got the right answer, but then you're going to be able to click a button to implement. And so you'll save yourself I can't even tell you how much time I spend trying to figure stuff out, like Stripe, for instance. God, I hate Stripe.
So I just want to build off something that you just said there. So you
Mhm.
kind of started about how with these AI tools, they need oversight, right?
Yeah.
Human oversight. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people are starting to really recognize is that AI is coming and it's going to be the people that can wield it and use it will be the ones that are actually controlling it. When
Yeah.
I do lots of sales calls and people ask me about the software for a service and they say, hey, how do you stack up against all of these other PPC softwares? The number one question we get asked is, hey, do you have AI built into your software? We say, no, we don't have AI because we found that like AIs can be just a black box. And we talked about how sometimes it gets it wrong. And we found that sometimes you spend more time on doing what it did than actually going forward as well, right? Because it does make those mistakes. And so
Mhm.
that human level of human oversight is extremely important. And then just kind of having transparency around how it got there, right? So like those deep think models and being like, this is the steps I went through. You can verify all of this and make sure that it all adds up
Mhm.
is super important as well. Right now, when we're starting to get into app scripts like what Todd has up on the screen here,
Mhm.
color me lost, right? I'll
Same.
plug it in,
I'm so
I'll
bad at
plug it
this
in, and
stuff.
I'll just cross my fingers and hope it works.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the key with writing code is to phrase the statement correctly and explain what you want correctly. So I have a computer programming background, so I understand like if then logic. And so when you're writing a statement for what you want done with code, you want to think in like if this then that, if this then that, and kind of explain it in that way to the AI so it gets it right.
Show me your prompt on this because that's actually a fairly large bit of JavaScript, right?
Well, let's see what I wrote here. So I pasted in the whole function, but so I need to update this app script to also include on the new restock any SKU that do not have any units in the AWD sheet columns. And then I listed all the columns and also do not have any units in the seller board sheet in these columns. And then I pasted the function. So kind of like an if then, and specifically telling it which columns I want to look at. Because if you don't give it enough information, it will just make assumptions.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't tell it the columns I wanted to look at, it would just pick random columns
Yeah.
and not ask you. They're not smart enough a lot of times to ask you questions. Even if you say, do you have any questions before you do it, anything? It's like, nope, I'm good. And it just spits out code and makes assumptions. So you got to be specific when you ask it to write you code.
Yeah. I would not be able to produce this. Even with
It's,
what you just said, I wouldn't be able to produce this.
yeah, it's not as hard as it looks, and maybe I'm biased, I guess, because I do have the coding background, so it's easier to me.
You are
'Cause if I
biased.
had to, I could read through the code and understand what it's doing, right?
Yeah.
So more advanced stuff, yes, it'd probably be hard for you. But if you had some basic data that you needed to have manipulated, you could write a couple paragraphs of exactly what you wanted, hit enter, and it would give you code on what you needed. You'd probably want to attach a copy of the file that you're processing so that it knows what the headers are and everything else.
Yeah. See, that's I don't think you can do that today. So I do everything in Google, right? And so I want to be able to just paste the link to it and say, hey, column
That would be
this, column
nice.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't see why we don't have that right now.
I'm sure it's in the works. I'm sure it's in the works.
I'm sure that Google is saying, nah, they can use Gemini Pro for that and pay for it.
One of the
Yeah,
very cool app
Google's going to
scripts.
try to. Sorry, go ahead, Neil.
Oh no, I was just gonna say one of the very cool app scripts that we built within PPC Ninja. Ritu built it, so I'm just like you, Dan. App script,
Yeah.
no go.
Yeah.
But Ritu loves it, and so she built like a tiny app script that lives in Chrome, and it's part of the AI thing and Rufus. And what it does is on the Amazon listings now, you can ask Rufus questions, right?
Yeah.
What does this product do? Blah, blah, blah. And she just wrote an app script that says, I want you to ask Rufus 20 questions. And then we're going to download and scrape all of that data, put it into a Google Sheet, and then we can analyze it and figure out what the AI is thinking your PDP actually is, right? So
I tell you, man, Ritu is a genius. She is so smart with that stuff. And like, you'd never know. She's so soft-spoken. She's super sweet. But up here, she's calculating everything. She is awesome.
Yeah. She really does move mountains when it comes to like, I like to think that I can operate at a high level and think things through. And then she comes up with these things and I'm like, Ritu, like, when did you come up with that? And she'll be like, oh, I couldn't fall asleep. So I did this at like 3 a.m. It's like, oh,
right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. That's awesome. So I have to ask then, is that script going to become available publicly for those of us that want it?
I know she's been doing a lot of AI webinars and masterclasses. And I know that I believe that one's come up quite a bit inside those masterclasses. So, I mean, if you want to see it, you got to go check it out, find some of the videos, or I bet you, if you send her an email, she might just send it right to you.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of that, I was just talking to my buddy, I don't know if you know him, Tomer Rabinovich, yesterday, because I've got the spreadsheet of all of the e-com events going on around the world, and I've got the group, and he's like, dude, you need to also do just like these one-off webinars and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what, you're right, I need to do that. So Ritu, if you're listening, although Neil you can tell her, any events you're doing, let me know. I'm going to start building a spreadsheet of events like outside of big events.
Yes,
because because I know she's been doing that for probably 2 years now almost, but like I lose track of what's going on and who's doing what and where it's going to be and when and all that stuff. Like you could spend your whole life on webinars and trainings, but
for sure.
I just lose track of what's going on and what I'm interested in. I miss it,
Yeah, that's a never-ending battle for being someone who likes to take in knowledge, because you can never learn it all. So it can be a never-ending race to try to learn things and all the new stuff that's coming out. So sometimes you just gotta resound yourself to knowing that you're never going to know.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to keep track of every AI tool that came out. And when it got to like, there's 100 new tools this day, I'm like, screw this. And then I fully stopped everything. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to use ChatGPT. It works for what I do. I use AI at a very low level, higher level than people that don't use it, and much lower level to people that are building businesses around it. But it has been, I feel like I'm missing out. I'm sure that there are, it'd be cool, Todd and Neil, and actually we should get Ritu on this, is to do like a business optimization AI tools thing. Like, this is what you use for this. This is what you use for that. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we built another cool one. Actually, I probably won't talk about this one in the public. We can talk.
Dang it! Now, of course, mystery sandwich, buddy. Now we have to know.
Yeah. We can talk about it offline. It's a cool one though, on the backside of business things.
Sweet.
Sounds good. Well, yeah, an AI episode would definitely be fun. So we might have to set.
You'll have to bring Ritu on
in
for
the
that
near future.
For sure.
For sure.
Yep.